Hello, math students. Welcome back to Module 10, Percent and Proportional Relationships. This is Lesson 2, and Lesson 2 is called Part of a Whole as a Percent. Part of a whole as a percent. That's the lesson, Lesson 2. The goal for today we will practice working with the part equals percent times whole formula. Okay, that sounds pretty easy. The question that I want you to be thinking about during this lesson is, how do you identify each part of the math sentence to use the formula? Okay, so we're going to go over some things to know because it's very important that you understand this stuff. So the things to know that I have to share with you is part of a whole percent problems involve a comparison of the numbers and a comparison of the quantity that is part of another quantity. Okay? Other things that you need to know that will help you with this is visual models help solve the problems. So the visual models that you know how to do are, don't forget, the tape diagram, the double number line, and equations. Okay, so those will come in handy when we're trying to figure out the part equals percent of whole formula. Okay, so going on to let's try it, because let's try it is actually how we're going to know that we can do this. On a recent survey, 60% of those surveyed indicated they preferred walking to running. If 540 people preferred walking, how many were surveyed? How many preferred running? Okay, so immediately what my brain tries to start doing is it tries to start saying, okay, I need to have a model so that I can organize my information, but then I also need to figure out what exactly is this question asking. So on a recent survey, 60% of those surveyed indicated they preferred walking to running. So 60% of surveyed. So I'm guessing that there were actually 100% people surveyed, right? But we only know 60 of them. So one of the models that I absolutely love, which I think you guys remember, is our double number line. And so I'm going to say our double number line has the percents up here. And then we're going to say that these are the people surveyed, right? Okay, so now I know that I have 0% here, 0 people surveyed, right? And then we're going to say that this right here is 20%. This right here is 40%. This right here is 60%. This right here is 80%. And then this right here is 100%. Okay? And then it says, on a recent survey, 60% of those surveyed indicated that they preferred walking to running. Okay, so it's saying 60% preferred walking. If 540 people preferred walking, how many were surveyed? Well, that's easy because we already know that 60% preferred walking. So we go to 60% and we write 540 because then it follows up and it says if 540 people preferred walking, so we know that that's the 60%. Oh, this is starting, it would help if you could see. Oh, this is starting to come together. So we know that 60% of the surveyed people preferred walking. So here's 60%. 540 people preferred walking. So they gave us the number of people. So we know that 60% is 540. So what they want us to figure out is what is 100%. Okay? And then they also want us to figure out what is the percent of running. Okay? So there's only 2 things that we know. We know that the whole survey is about walking and running. Right? Okay, so that's 2 things. So if 60% preferred walking, so that means all of these guys preferred walking, then all of these guys would prefer running. So I'm actually going to do a different tool, and on this tool, I'm going to use a tape. And the reason why I'm going to use a tape is because I'm going to divide the tape into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now they're not even, and I apologize that, but it said that 60% equals 540. So this is 540 here. That's 60%. So then what does this have to be? Well, we know that up here, this is 60%. This would then have to be what? 40%. Yeah? Are you guys getting it? Are you seeing my gist? And this is walking, right? Because it told us. So then this over here must be running. And so now our job is to figure out how many were surveyed. So that means how many in total were surveyed. And then how many preferred running. So we need to know this box right here for running. We also need to know this box over here, which is your total. Okay, so we use two different models to help us, just like it says up above. All right, so let's see what we can do. What my gut is telling me to do is it's saying, well, why don't you try to find 10%? Okay, well, 10% sits about here. So what I have to do is I have to take my knowledge of what I've got. So how did I go from 60 to 10? I divided by 6. And what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So we have to divide that by 6, because 60 divided by 6 gets me to 10. Yes or no? All right, so 540 divided by 6 gets me to, you said it, 90. So I know that 10% of the people equals 90 persons surveyed. So if I'm trying to find my total, then I have to go from 10 to 100. Well, that's easy. How do you get from 10 to 100? Everybody should know this one. Of course, you multiply by 10. What you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So 10 times 10 equals 100. We got that. 90 times 10 equals 900. So kiddos, how many total people were surveyed? How many people were surveyed? Okay. And you should know the answer because we just found it. So there were 900 total people surveyed. And 540 of them preferred walking. So now we have to figure out how many preferred running. So again, you have 540. So we're skipping back over here to our tape. We have 540 and we have 3 sections. So what is 540 divided by 3? Because that's how many sections we have. So we're going to do 540 divided by 3. 3 goes into 5 once. Bring down your 2, bring down your 4. 3 goes into 24, 8, and then 0. So we know in each section there are 180 people. So we have to continue because this is a tape, and the tapes are always the same size, same shape. So now let's check our math and see if we did it right. So if we did 180 times 5, we should get 900. Let's see if we do it. So 0, 40, ta-da, 900. So we did it. So that's right. So that's a double check of our total, which our total is 900. So we got that right. Now can we figure out how many ran or how many prefer running? And the answer is sure. How many 180s do you see? 2. So multiply it out. 2 times 0 is 0. 2 times 8 is 16. Regroup the 1. So this would be 360. So how many people preferred running? The answer is 360. So boys and girls, what do you think? Okay, we used part of a whole as a percent. And the reason that we knew that it was a part of a whole is because they gave us the part, which was 540. The percent was 60%, which then let us figure out what the total was by using a double number line. And then we were also able to use a tape because 60% plus 40% gives 100%. And so this was 2 different models that helped us figure out the answer. So going back to our goal was today we will practice working with part equals percent of whole formula, which we actually didn't do at all, but let's see if we can. Could we write that as the equation? Because remember it said to use an equation too. So we were given a part, right? So our part that we were given was 540. The percent that we were given was 60%, and the whole is what we were trying to find. So if you use this formula, part equals percent of whole, then we would write 540 equals 60% of what number? That's what we had to figure out. That was our variable. Okay, oh, you can't even see it. So our part was for 540, our percent was 60, our whole was question mark. So if you use the equation part equals percent of whole, then we have 540 equals 60% of what number? And that would be the equation that you use. And what we do now know is 900. Okay, so if you take 60% of 900, you should get 540. Okay? All right, so today we will practice working with the part equals percent of whole formula. How do you identify each part of the math sentence to use in the formula? Basically, the way I figure it out is I use the little clues. If it has a percent sign attached, then you know that's the percent. If it's the part, then that means that you have to have something else to give you the total. So we knew that this was the part because it asks you how many total were surveyed, right? So we don't know the totals. We had to find it. All right. And so that's how I do it. It takes time. It takes lots of repetition and lots of practice. All right, my darlings, that's all I have for you. I will talk to you soon. Have a good day. Bye.